Bubba, over the years, we've talked about people who tend to want to find themselves on the Hell Express. As we talked to.
I mean, it's one thing to go, Rick. It's It's another thing to be on the front seat.
Yeah. Well, now in Chicago, we've got all the vandalism and the looting and the rioting, and somehow someone's tied reparations to this, which I think is a disgrace. But someone has now vandalized in Chicago the Ronald McDonald House.
Now, Rick, this is the place that it's the Ronald McDonald Charity where if your kid is in the hospital or whatever, they give you a place to go and stay close to the hospital, and it's free. Or I don't know exactly how they do all of it, but they're all over the country. But they're set up for that. If you have someone that's in a serious condition in the hospital, a child, that's where you go and stay.
I want you to think about this, Bubba, to your point. This isn't something that they have available to you. It was currently being used.
Right.
And looters smash windows while families whose children are sick and hospitalized, they come to the place, the Ronald McDonald House, to Bubba's point, where they're allowed. If you've ever been through a long-term stay with any family member, but with your children, and they give you a place to stay while they're in the hospital, children's hospital. And the building had to be placed on lockdown because looters went to the Ronald McDonald House, where parents with sick children in Children's Hospital are sleeping, and smashed the windows while they were trying to sleep.
See, Rick, look, there's wrong, and then there's another category of wrong, and that one falls in it.
Well,
that gets you in the front car right there.
Well, this shows you that all of this. Romanticizing of the looters and the rioters is garbage. This is not how you approach any topic, regardless of what you want to redress the government about, what you want to let society know about. This is nothing but a distraction away from us actually trying to, as a country, come together and address the problems we need to address. This takes it. So you're just about the time you might have had somebody that says, maybe we need to take a look at fill in the blank. Today they read a headline that looters and rioters, and you can say, but we're not with them. We're not with them. Well, you're not doing a very good job of communicating that. You need to. And now they're going to hear that you want me to support people who break the windows at the Ronald McDonald House while families of children in long-term stays and clinging to life at Children's Hospital. You want me to support a bunch that does that? I mean, you can't let it happen.
Guys,
ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Van Adler.
I want to say a happy birthday to my goddaughter, Reagan, who is 12, whose family spent, I think, 2 weeks at a Ronald McDonald House. And I just want to bring this into like a personal story.
Sure.
When they're okay, so my goddaughter was born, her lungs were filled, and she had no lung function. She had to be put in the neonatal intensive care unit for many, 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 many weeks. And this was here in Birmingham. And her family does not live in Birmingham. So if they want to be in the same city as their child, what do? They stay in they sit in the lobby of the hospital. They sleep on couches in the hospital. You see this happening all the time. And then the Ronald McDonald House, which has limited availability, people really want to get into these places because it's a cheap or free place to stay, where these people are in just horrific nightmare situations where their child is stuck in the hospital and they don't have anywhere to stay, and they don't have money because the hospital bills are piling up. They can't go to their jobs because they're in this terrible situation. And to see, it just hurt my heart so bad for those families that are inside this Ronald McDonald House, because I have a personal story, and I'm sure all of you guys do as well. And it's just, there is no justification for this, and it shows that there's no justification for pretty much all of the things that we're seeing.
Yep.
And the people that are doing these protests, you're losing what really caused the change of the civil rights movement of the 1960s, and that's sympathy of the world and sympathy of the general public. Yep. When people saw the fire hoses and the dogs being put on people in the 60s during the civil rights, people said, "Whoa, that is wrong. These people are being peaceful. They're peacefully protesting." And what we are seeing here is wrong, and you're losing that, and that's why your cause has no credibility, and the violence and the protests that are occurring, there's no justification for any of these actions, and it just makes me so angry. And I just wanted to tell that story.
No.
And I wanted to say happy birthday to Reagan, who's 12 now, and she's doing great.
Well, imagine,
it's amazing. She's a miracle baby.
And imagine these people that you love being in that Ronald McDonald House while that child may or may not make it, and all of a sudden looters come and break the windows out and have to lock it down, and they terrorize the place.
I was fortunate.
Adler said it perfect. You're losing credibility, and you're certainly not going to get any sympathy.
Big time.
I was fortunate enough to MC their gala. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I
When
guess.
you went and got your suit from college?
Yeah, I did. I had to.
Yeah.
And that picture's up. We moved it around. It was in your office for a while there,
Yeah.
Greg.
I enjoyed it when I
I
had
toured their facility here and met some of the families that were there, and to hear their stories, and they were very similar to what Adler just talked about.
Oh yeah, I think every family knows someone that's had to go through that.
Yeah, they do great work, and that's sad.
I mean, again, it just shows this is nothing but chaos and destruction for the sake of chaos and destruction.
It's just bad people out doing bad things, and they've hijacked what was a righteous cause.
Yep. Bottom of the hour, we'll be back. Phone calls coming in at 866-WE-BE-BIG. We'll take your phone calls, and we'll discuss what is on your mind. You can also reach us by email or follow us on our social media platforms. You find all that at rickandbubba.com.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.